where did the name Storytellers Union even come from? Tell us a little bit about the history.
You know, I actually thought about that the other day. I know that we were trying to think of what we call ourselves, and we threw a lot of names out there. I don't really remember who came up with Storytellers Union.
Do you remember that?
I think it was Kevin, actually.
I was trying to think of that too.
I seem like I remember a long list of, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of it? Right. It was almost like we put it to a vote. Is that?
I honestly don't remember. I remember
this process was obviously as far back as some of the songs are
Yeah.
old.
Right.
When did you all become Storytellers Union?
Would it be 8-9 years now?
Some would
That
say
long?
we've always been known.
I can't really recall a time in my life when there wasn't music. It was ever present, always there. I was born in Logan, West Virginia, and grew up in church, so we had lots of gospel music. And gospel music in Southern West Virginia is Southern gospel, very country-ish, minimal instrumentation, even bluegrass influenced, lots of just a cappella groups. My mom, she played piano in our church, and she taught piano as well, so there was a piano in our home, so we had music at home. The other music we had at home, and the only secular music we were really allowed to listen to at the time, was my father's music. He was a child of the 50s, a big Elvis fan, and through him I was exposed to things like the Everly Brothers, Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, all those great talents and voices.
My first musical memories, I'm going to say I was probably maybe 3 or 4. I don't really remember the age, but what I do remember was I had this tiny little acoustic guitar. And this is as far as me like really remembering music, remember playing or anything. There used to be a show called the Porter Wagner Show. It was a country show. And that sounds odd with the kind of music that we do. And but it was old school country, and Porter Wagner would, I believe, open the show every time with some sort of like guitar playing intro, and I would go get this guitar, and I would go and get it set in front of the TV, and I would just stand on it. Not really play it or anything, but just stand on it, because I was so excited that there was somebody there actually, you know, playing guitar, yes, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew it was, wow, this is awesome, and the way I expressed that was just jumping up on my guitar, because it was just so exciting to me as a little kid.
Mom tells us a story that when I was a baby in my bouncer, at about like 3 months old, that she was listening to the radio while she's cleaning the house one day, and I'm in my little bouncer, and the song You Sexy Thing, maybe it's You Sexy Thing, that came on by Hot Chocolate, came on the radio, and she saw me over there rocking back and forth and just bouncing and giggling in my bouncer, and pretty much knew I was gonna love music.
So naturally, when there's things that you're not allowed to have as a child, that's what you want more. And so I really longed for whatever bits of pop culture and music that I could get. I'd hear things at school, I'd sneak and listen to the radio. I would hide a transistor radio that I would take to bed with me at night, and hide under the covers and hear all this wonderful music.
I was about 7 years old, and I have a pretty clear memory of this. Mom sat me down, and she said, you know, I know that you listen to songs. I know that you listen to lyrics and what they mean. There's 2 songs I want you to listen to. And I really want you to listen to the words, and then we'll talk about it. And those 2 songs were John Lennon's Imagine and Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. It meant a lot to me. And from that moment on, lyrics and songs and music became more than just a beat or a rhythm. It became life, and it became meaning.
I remember coming home from my grandparents, and in my child's mind, it's, gosh, I want to say midnight, maybe later. Sure, it wasn't that late at all, but in my mind, as a child, it was. And the Who's We Won't Get Fooled Again comes on the radio, and it's got this sense going on at the beginning, and I remember being so terrified by these sounds in the middle of the night, yet so fascinated by them, especially when the guitars kick in. You know, that may have triggered the love of rock and roll right there. I really believe that I have my dad to thank for my love of the blues. He was a ZZ Top fan from way back in the day. Stuff like Tres Hombres, just all that Texas blues.
I know music obviously meant a lot to me even before I had memories of it doing so, because there's a picture of me as just a wee little thing, and I'm there with my Roy Rogers guitar, and I posted that to Facebook a few years ago, and Doug in short order posted a reply pic that he photoshopped with the two of us together, him even younger than I am in the photo, but with the exact same Roy Rogers guitar.
Well, the first time I met Kevin, it's going to make him sound bad because I was 13 years old, and it was in Girl Scouts.
I was at the junior high because my mother was a teacher there. She also was a Girl Scout troop leader, and my sister and Jerry were in my mother's Girl Scout troop.
So he was there, and he was about 15 and already to high school, and he was nice, he was sweet, he was cute, and we hit it all.
Obviously, I didn't think a lot of it at the time. It's funny to look back on now, but over the years, we became closer than she was to my sister, to the point that when she would call for my sister and my sister wasn't home, I would talk to her. And we obviously had music in common even back then, and it was one of the things we really bonded over.
We pretty quickly realized that we had a lot in common. We both really liked music, and we liked a lot of the same music, and at 13 and 15, that's enough to spark a pretty good friendship.
And went to shows together, and it was just a natural extension that when I began to be in bands and play my own music and play with some of the other guys, that we would bring her in, someone who actually could sing and had real talent. And she even appears on some of those early recordings from my high school and college era groups. Joined us on stage, and obviously that love of music is something we've shared, that passion for our whole lives, so long before it was ever romantic. And in a lot of ways it was music that kind of pushed us from friendship into romance.
As far as making music with Kevin and Jerry goes, I met Kevin in a journalism class in high school. He was in the 11th grade. It was my first year of high school at Logan High. I was in 10th grade. And we also had the class with a guy named Dave McGuire, who was in 12th grade. He was a senior.
We met in Miss Ross's journalism class at Logan High School. He and his friends, awkward and odd as they seemed to us, we had, my group of friends that I was in that class with, had kind of dubbed those guys the journalism geeks, because they seemed just that, very geeky. Little as we know that was the exact same nickname that they had for us.
In the journalism class, Kevin sat across the room with a couple of his friends, that lifelong friends of his that he came up through junior high with, and they had a little a cappella kind of tongue-in-cheek thing they called the Soap Studs. But they were talented. They could actually sing and carry a tune, and McGuire knew I played bass. I would let that be known. So McGuire's an excellent guitar player, still is to this day. We just kind of formed out of that.
So, as any good geeks know, there are strength in numbers, and once we started to talk and hang out together, we found out a lot that we had in common,
from slightly warped senses of humor, slightly outcast images that we kind of had for ourselves, lots of similarities in the music department, and because of that was what we really began to hang out over. And those guys were musicians, and they played instruments, and they needed a singer. Well, I was a writer. I wrote a lot of lyrics, I wrote a lot of poems, I was very comfortable with that side of things. I didn't consider myself a singer. I didn't consider myself obviously a musician, but as the only guy amongst this small group that had formed of friends that didn't play an instrument, I sort of ended up the singer by default.
Dave had some pretty cool musical taste. Of course, he was a Beatles fan, and you know, how can you not love the Beatles? But he was also a huge U2 fan, and turned us on to a lot of cool music.
Our guitar player was pretty good. The rest of them were kind of neophytes in their instruments. Doug at the time was on bass. Our drummer kind of had a single beat he could work with, and I was even more limited in the fact that I brought nothing to the table. I had no microphone for those first couple of practices. I never had any monitors, speakers. A lot of times I would be sharing the bass amp with the guitar amp, but I particularly remember those first few practices, and actually many practices after that, depending on if we had everything set up, is that I couldn't hear myself. I never could. Everything was just screamed to the top of my lungs in hopes that I was being heard over top of the racket the rest of the guys were making.
Started messing around, making a lot of noise in my parents' garage.
I remember in the summers we would open up the front of the garage hoping that the sound emanating out of it would attract the women of Lake, West Virginia, into thinking that there was some rock and roll gods in the making there in that garage, and they'd come listen. It happened a time or two. I don't know how impressed they were, but every now and then we would get passersby in the neighborhood that would come and listen into what we were doing. Early 90s, we were all kind of big into U2. This was right after they broke big, but a lot of us had followed them for a while, so we were kind of a U2 cover band. We had lots and lots of Sunday, Bloody Sunday massacres of our own. So after that initial band, I was in a few others real briefly that didn't include Doug, but it didn't take very long that our paths converged again, and we ended up in the band that we would spend most of our youth in.
That was really our high school band.
It eventually ended up being known as World's Edge, and we spelled it with a Z because we thought that was somehow cooler.
So I just remember like Doug just started being that person that, okay, you're a part of the group, all right, and then you know that natural metamorphosis of, well, I'm friends with this person, so that vis-a-vis makes me friends with you, and ultimately, I mean, over the next several years through high school and college, in particular, Doug became one of my best friends, and we spent, you know, lots of time together, and he became really my closest confidant.
To be honest, I'm not really sure when or where Jerry and I met. She's just one of those people who's always been in my life.
I was kind of always around.
World's Edge was a thing, and she was part of that. You know, she was there at our very first gig. I think she was there at all the World's Edge gigs.
You know, I just kind of wanted to be a part of it because I really believed in what they were doing. And and this is not just the wife or now bandmate talking, I still am a really big fan of Kevin. I'm a big fan of Kevin's lyrics, and I've always been a fan of his songs. And so even as a kid, I'm like, I want in on what these guys are doing because they're going to be huge, and I wanted to be a part of that. And it's fun, as a teenage girl to be part of that.
I think, at least for myself, I function better as a studio guy. That's where I love to be. That's where I love to play. I love that creative process.
It was a real formative band for us in that it took us from the covers that we were doing before to a band that was primarily doing original material. And as a lyricist, that was it for me. Once we started writing songs and creating something out of nothing, it was really addictive.
We had we recorded an album on a 4-track cassette recorder, I think it was a Tascam, a 4-track recorder. We would bounce down tracks, did drums, guitars, bass, vocals, leads, guitars, rhythms, all that good stuff. We just kept bouncing it down. And then mass produced them on cassette.
So when we were at World's Edge, the guys wanted to play out, and I wasn't so sure because I didn't feel comfortable, didn't think we were good enough, and to be quite honest, as the front man, I was going to be the one expected to talk to the crowd and be out front, and I was actually painfully shy and just terrified at the thought. And they wanted to play Gumby's in these bars in Huntington, and that also terrified me. And I didn't know how to explain that to my parents. But the compromise was we ended up playing a bunch of grade schools.
Yeah, we were rocking on the grade school circuit. I'm not sure they were the best gigs. We still needed a lot of polish.
But that first show we did at Dingus just had some hilarious memories.
The grade school had no stage, just flat floor on the gym. So the guys were building the stage.
I was trying to play on the gym floor, but that wasn't good enough. We had to be elevated so that they would look up at us.
Spray painting the plywood black, and we set this plywood up on a couple of metal bleachers. And after that, we set up all our gear on top of that.
So if you picture those benches you used to have in your grade school cafeteria and a few cinder blocks, that was all that was supporting this plywood that we then put on top 4 rather healthy teenage boys and hundreds of pounds of amps and guitars and drum kit. It's a wonder we didn't break our necks. I remember that the thing bounced like it was a trampoline, and I was terrified we were going to have an accident.
The cassette tape that we were selling for the album You Are Here had some album artwork that had been drawn and of course photocopied off and things, and so it's black and white.
Jerry and her friend were coloring our inserts during the show so that we could sell the cassette. They were actually coloring the sleeve.
So I would be selling the tape and go, hey, do you want it, $5, do you want it colored? And yeah. And so, okay, I have to color it in real quick and then sell it that way.
I think we did some Tesla too, maybe Love Song. I think that's may have been popular at the time, so everybody was on board with that song. I remember I used to play barefoot all the time. That was my thing. I was a barefoot bass player back then. And it was my gimmick. I'm a wrestling geek, so, why not have a gimmick?
And they would go nuts and treat you like you were rock stars. Autographs, and they'd just go wild about the whole thing.
We love you, Kevin!
But everything else we did, not exactly appropriate for a grade school audience. Our World's Edge originals and War Pigs, Decadence Dance. But we did it, and got paid for it, and were able to sell our album.
And if that wasn't Spinal Tap enough, that show also, we had lasers. We had to have lasers. and it literally was one laser. You had to look at the right spot in order to be able to see it. Had to have it pointed out to you, probably. We had this grand idea. We were also going to have this huge merch stand with T-shirts, and the kid that a friend of ours who had hand drawn the cover art to our cassette we were selling was supposed to produce these T-shirts. Again, hand drawn. So we expected him to show up with a number of shirts, and instead he showed up and only had time to produce one shirt. So instead of having T-shirts, we had T-shirt singular, and instead of having T-shirt sales, we decided to have a raffle for the one and only out there somewhere, a collector's item.
Between the stage and I think we took everybody out to breakfast or dinner or something like that afterwards. I think that blew our entire anything we'd actually made from the show. The greatest to hear people driving off, playing our 4-track recordings on their car stereos as they drove away, and knowing that somewhere out there, there's that World's Edge T-shirt. Sometimes you're just not ready for it, and I'm not quite sure as World's Edge we were ever really ready for it. But we did it anyway, regardless.
And the funny thing is that, yes, we were amateurs. You go back and you realize that, gosh, we didn't have much in the way of chops, but the nuggets of the ideas that were there, some of the music and the lyrics and things I can look back at and go, I see what those kids were trying to do. And again, everyone starts somewhere, and that was kind of where we began. Jerry and I lived in Huntington while we were at Marshall, and then we ended up moving to Ashland. And during that time, Doug was primarily in Pittsburgh and then back in Logan for a long while. So geographically, we were separated, and we weren't doing music, really, any of us. But when he got to Huntington, he suggested that we start getting together on Wednesday nights and just no pressure. We won't call it a band. Let's just start writing again. And before you knew it, it was a band. We were calling ourselves Storytellers Union, and we brought Jerry in because she makes everything sound so much better. And the three of us pretty much recorded over and over for 16, 17 years, collecting these songs until we finally put out a debut album.
If we had had 20, 30 people that downloaded it and said that they liked it, that would have been, unthinkable when we were finishing it.
Yeah, I would have expected our parents to like it,
Yeah.
Really.
But when friends started commenting and saying they'd listened to it, downloaded it,
And people we didn't even know were downloading it. I mean, it's just like friends of friends, and track where some of this stuff was coming from. It was like, we don't even know. It went beyond this small little circle that we kind of thought that it may be fine. I was kind of surprised after the release how good it felt in some ways to be free of songs that we've been playing for so long. You get together for 15, 16 years and you play the same set of songs, and then we occasionally record some of these songs, and it just was like this fun thing that we did, but I guess I wasn't prepared after the release for just how good it would feel to think of them as
Kevin and Doug became almost obsessed with watching like the the download numbers, and like I'm getting a daily, if not hourly, report on somebody else downloaded it, and we had 5, you know, click throughs.
Fire without a smile. You can prove me otherwise. I want that country now. Down to Big John English Farm, started lying there. 27, cold as ice, death blowing through her head. God say it isn't so. Why did you let us go? God say it isn't so. Why did you let us go?
It's kind of a process where I create something, pitch to Kevin, and he either makes it work or he doesn't. And if it makes it work, we go run with it. If it doesn't, you know, I dismantle it and use it in other places.
The smiles of the saddest people. The smiles of the saddest people in the world.
I like where it goes here, so I mean, you want to use that as just a break or a solo section or bridge?
But this last time there was a couple of instances where I was able to actually sing and record my vocal part, the melody, and Doug was able to put the music behind it. And I mean, that was the best I never had. That was something that completely I heard in my head, and he was able to recreate what I heard in my head, despite the fact I couldn't sit down there and map it out for him other than just sing it to him. And we had tried that in the past and it never worked. It's still easier, obviously, for Doug to come up with music and for me to put lyrics to it. But on those occasions when I do have a melody, it's nice to think that there's a possibility that he might be able to, maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle again, and he might be able to feed off of that and be able to recreate it.
And it's kind of a fun challenge to try that, because, you know, like our process is, you know, pretty much a fully formed song handed to you and say, hey, can we do something with this? You know, you just come up with a melody, you know, lyrics, whatever. And when you come to me, you go, hey, I got this idea. You know,
It might give us a different kind of
And
song.
I tapped it out.
Right.
I've always been the backing vocal, and that's where I'm most comfortable. So actually putting a couple of my own songs on there has been a little nerve-wracking, but they've encouraged it, and
I'd like to see more of it.
I would like to as well, and we'll see. I still get a little nervous about it, but
Kind of every step of the way, Doug and I have been sort of in tandem, working together, and it's just kind of a real, you know, special thing to have lifelong friends like Doug and Jerry, who I've been making music with for so very long, and for that to be something that we all still enjoy.
And as proud as we are of that first album, I think that my bandmates would agree with me here that we think that we could do better. I mean, we like it. It was good to do it. It was a great experience. The reaction was more than we thought. But now it's like, okay, now we got to top ourselves, because, you know, a lot of people listened, a lot of people tuned in because they were curious, and not all those folks will necessarily come back when it's not new or different. So now you almost feel like there's the challenge of, okay, to get people to listen this time, we have to make it better.
The past is present again.
Sexy. I think that could.
Sexy Chocolate Ninja Space
I
Ball?
think
No, I
that
just call it Kevin
yeah.
Sexy.
Oh,
Pretty much that sums up the whole band right there in one word. Just
sexy.
Okay.
This is Storytellers Union.
You would not be seeking life if you had not found it. Good. We are lost in the blue. Kids on the same run. Look at our roses, we can never tell.
of an inner band joke about the fact that one of the three members, despite having been in the band for a very long period of time, knows nothing about the names of the songs. So, some of these songs, all of which he has either written or had a hand in shaping, we have 12 songs on album number 1. Doug, how many song titles can you name? We'll see if he can get how many he can name before he gets 3 strikes and he's
Quite
out.
the challenge.
Okay.
Yep.
Past is present again.
Okay, he's got 1. No strikes.
AKA Old Denim Jacket.
Old denim
Oh.
jacket.
Yeah.
Where we are? Is that right?
There's no question mark at the end, but I give him credit for that. That's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 2.
Okay.
The Human After All song. I'm trying to help you.
That's
just-
not on this album.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's one we're working on right now.
So he's up to 2.
But I like that you consider it the Human After All song.
I don't know the names of our songs.
So 2 of 12
One of the
is
ones
what we
that
have.
you think you know, they're all about football.
They're all
Oh, he knows
Kevin's
what none
lyrics
of them are about.
Yeah, all of Kevin's lyrics are about football.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate football, but apparently I
Yeah,
can't stop writing about
Friday Night Football. Every
Friday Night
single
Football,
song.
everything.
Yeah.
it. Actually, there might be one on the next album
And
that
the
does have a
next
football
album.
lyric. But
And I
outside
think
of
that's
that,
where
Everyone should forget all those chilly Friday nights. Now the brightest stars dim, like no scoreboard lights. Does anyone see James walk the wall?
I don't really remember how soon it was after It's About Time that we started doing Kids on the Same Ride. Guys? I mean, some of these songs have been around forever, too, though.
I think that's the thing. It was almost just one sort of fed into the other because we had so many of these songs already working on
I
them.
mean, we still have songs from It's About Time that haven't seen the light of day yet because they don't work the way we want them to yet. Blah, 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 check, wah, blah, blah, wah, blah, blah, wah. So when we first started recording for this album, it's tried, it's true, it's what's always worked for us, always. I mean, since we were in high school, really. I mean, we put the music down, knock out the vocals. You know, all of us, if not in the same room, we send you to the bathroom to record parts or whatever. The same thing with Jerry. We step out of the room to let somebody record, but that's been limited on time.
The lead vocal from Accident might have been from us that very first time getting together.
Oh, yeah.
And because we did just a couple of songs the first time we tried the same all in the studio
Right.
approach.
Desperation, longing, sadness, joy, and pain. Every stroke of the key, a link in the chain.
Yeah. Oh, there was my flirtations with us trying to do it all on the floor, but which is getting the band all together in one room and just taking off. And that probably works great for bands. I know it's worked great for bands in the past. Like, I'm sure the Beatles did it, the Stones did it. But, that's not... We can't capture that live energy because we don't have a live band. We don't have a drummer, we don't have a bass player, we don't have keys. We don't have all those elements of a live band. So it's a great idea on paper, and it's great for songwriting for us to get together, sort of throw on a loop of drums or whatever, and mash something out for an idea. But that just didn't work for us either. So the energy's not really there live for the way we work. But and then I think what the best process has been bouncing back and forth between basements, really. Yeah, because with technology, it makes the writing process so much simpler because we can, share those ideas. Enter again. Now it'll load it up. Now Go Jane should be in here. what I did there. 1 through 6, because it goes, or 1 through 8, and then it goes 9 through 16. You switch back and forth. It's a digital 16 track here. It's just Zoom digital 16 track, so I can bounce down mixes. I do mix downs, put them in a Dropbox, sans vocals, send them straight to you guys, fire off a text and say, hey, this is ready, that's ready. Let's say you wanted to work on River.
Okay.
You're gonna have to change the project.
Here. Is that right? Or here?
You'll go to project first.
Go to project. Okay.
And now it's going to say, okay, what do you want to do with project? Do you want a new project? And use these back and forth right here to go through and find what you want. You know, and the same thing with the writing process too. I've got this idea, check it out. Then you guys dump it onto a, what is it? Is it an SD card, I believe? Mm-hmm. And then just plug it into the Zoom, and you've got 16 tracks of vocals, 14 tracks of vocals, because 2 of those tracks are going to be the stereo mix down to the music. You guys have 14 tracks to play with and layer and experiment and just go crazy with.
And we send them back to you, and
then everything's already synced up because you're starting and ending where I've started it into the song anyway. So then I can just drop your vocal stems into what I've got in Studio One and run with it from there. Okay, this is for the vocal stack. J37 stereo, mastering, fat, tight, and open, easy mix, de-esser at, where are we, 40%, Abbey Road vocal plate, we're only at 8%. Huh, okay. And then the mix-centric, get party started.
so here's some Storyteller Union problems. You got the studio to yourself, you're kind of feeling it, you want to come down and maybe do some experimenting, and you cue up your track, and this is what you get.
I think so.
Wait for it.
Bringing clothes in a blow, 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 hey, Joe, and then we're gonna blow some more.
Yep, that's what we deal with around here.
I think we had the freedom to be more ambitious this way. So I think some of
Definitely
our
ambitious,
longer songs or more involved arrangements and things made this album because we couldn't get them done fast enough on album 1.
Yeah.
I figure if we like it, you know, we can use parts of it, or if we don't like it, then we can just use the chorus. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it.
Is that what the mister wanted?
Can't think of anything else. That's kind of the most collaborative song we've ever done. And the fact that Jerry kind of had the original, we all sat in a room together and that one came. I had lyrics to it and she had a guitar part to it, and then, you know, Doug fleshes that out and I rewrite the chorus to the lyrics I had, and next thing you know, Doug comes back with an arrangement he sends for us to sing over, and it's a freaking symphony. I mean, we sat down here wanting to tear up, like, you got to hear what he's done.
I think we did tear up, yeah,
it was, and so I don't know. It just seemed that's one of my favorite.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I'm a really big fan of St. Francis Bay. I love the haunting music that starts the song. I I think Kevin's voice sounds really sexy throughout the song.
I never heard.
And it's a great song. It's an unusual song. So some days it might be another song, but that one always comes back to me.
It's 11 feet high today in St. Francis Bay. It's 11 feet high today in St. Francis Bay. Carrie never remarried, never spoke of Raymond, the Assy Bridge, or the Bay.
There's so many songs, but if I had to pick one, I think it would be the one that leads, is Jellybone Ghost, because I love the way it just opens the album with the a cappella version of the chorus. You know, just going straight to the chorus and then into what I intended to be an Arcade Fire kind of riff leading into everything that it is. But that would be it for me, is Jellybone.
Borrowed the book, dug the pages, read between the lines, memorized the phrases. But once about dreams, were always flying. I was always drowning, I thought I was dying. Remember the future, resurrecting the past. On the winning skin, still the mask, flying in the water, makes it swim. I can see the ocean bottom.
Let's talk about River and Mud.
River and Mud.
Well, as far as being a challenging song, I would think that River and Mud, and I had as little to do with that one as about any song on the album, but watching the two of you work through River and Mud together.
River and Mud, yeah, go ahead.
Don't fight.
River and Mud was challenging.
Why?
Because Jerry has a way of playing that I don't really understand.
Which means that it's not really playing. It's
1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 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 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
when I wrote River and Mud, I'm sitting in a bedroom by myself, you know, and I'm picking, and it is very folksy sort of picking kind of. I'm not necessarily sitting there thinking, okay, I'm writing this in dun 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 dun, you know, and like
That's what I'm talking about. So what's what as far as the verse and the chorus?
Want to get the see if the iPad.
The chorus, there's not a chorus that's sung.
Uh-huh.
So it's basically goes, let's see. Let me see if I can figure out the lyrics. See.
You want me to get it?
Woke up and washed that down and stuck in the river and mud. Stuck in the river and mud. But you're stuck in the river and mud. Stuck in the river and mud.
And so Doug, when I start playing it, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm doing a little different every time. So it's the frustration.
You're admitting you were doing it differently every time?
Well, don't.
I'm sorry. I
was playing the same chords.
Okay, that's what it was all about.
Okay, it works.
But is it right? And if it's
What is right, Doug? I wrote the song. It doesn't. It's not. It's irrelevant. I wrote the song. If I go, one way is right, the other way is right. Either one could be right. Does that make you feel better about it?
I'm so confused about your argument about which is right. Is
Okay,
it correct to you?
This would be. It would go. It would say, "Try to pull your bootstraps, but you're stuck in the middle, river and mud." Okay. All this does is try to pull your bootstraps, but you're stuck in the river and mud. It just
I'm
changes.
pretty sure you did the
scene.
same thing.
No, see, that's why I think we've got it. It's not. It's this. Watch. Play it with me. Instead, I'm going to go, try to pull your bootstraps, but you're stuck in the river and mud. Instead, we're going, try to pull your bootstraps, but you're stuck in the river and mud. Right?
You just did the same thing twice.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I went
Okay, here.
A minor, try
Put
to
headphones on,
pull.
play with the drums.
This was an ongoing,
What?
like it
Wait,
seemed like
wait,
a
wait.
year.
I was playing the same chords.
And then they both sit here
It's
now and go, well, sometimes we don't understand each other.
I realized
I
that,
think
right.
differently than she thinks. Before it was like, well, he's doing this. No, she's doing that.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is everybody gets a measure. So which way do you want it?
Rather than recording everything all over again, it's perfectly.
Well, there's nothing but a drum track right now. This
You
time.
just said you would have to redo the bass and
No,
everything.
I said
that way.
I said I have to still record those things, so I'm not going to record it all again until I know how it's supposed to go.
Well, you've known for a year how it's supposed to go.
But you keep changing it.
I have not changed that part. You were sitting there watching me play and said I just did the same thing. And I said, no, I didn't. I went from an A minor to a C, and you just didn't see it.
End results, though.
But Doug got it. He got it. It took him working on it.
It took a while for me to bring it to
And-
where it needed to be, because I tried to veer off in a couple of directions with it, because I wanted
I couldn't do it, yeah.
I wanted at the end of the day, I wanted it to be a sloppy, punkish kind of, almost like an Old Crow punk song, which, you know, Old Crow could be, I guess, bluegrass punk, really.
What's up, Doug?
You were awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I just want you to know that.
You nailed that.
Yeah, man, every time. I mean,
Every
you are
time.
totally Mr. One Take. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, actually.
Well,
I mean, I can't play the same solo twice, but you, every time you step up to the mic, you just nail it.
I appreciate your improvisation. That each time it can be different, but still right somehow.
Well, I appreciate that, because, you know, I'm really self-conscious about that, because
Yeah,
it's
you-
really
you-
improv. I don't really learn them.
You have no
It's-
reason to be
It's
self-conscious
very
about it.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
because, especially playing next to you sometimes.
Well,
I mean,
I again appreciate you saying that, especially coming from someone as good as you obviously are. Yeah.
Would you guys
I love
fight?
you back.
Would you
I
guys
love you.
fight, please?
Bring it in.
Just
Oh,
fight.
yeah. This is the worst fight we ever had.
Fight.
I'm so
I'm
sorry
so
for
sorry.
that. It's my
Argument.
fault. It's my fault.
Sorry. Where's Jerry?
Was Monica gave it her all, gave it some more just to end up nothing but spent. Maria, she waits tables and waits some more. Night school, day camp, overtime, waiting for her big score. Has anyone seen Jane? Seen her walk that wall of fame? No one calls her out by name. Go Jane, go Jane. Has anyone seen Jane? Seen her walk that wall of fame? No one calls her out by name. Go Jane, go Jane.
So It's About Time came out December 2015, and that was right after I had gotten diagnosed with MS and was starting treatment for that. After a pretty scary summer of thinking that it wasn't MS, but that it was potentially brain cancer, so we were dealing with that.
The first album was done before all of that started, so that
Yeah.
started about this time. Health issues, you,
Yeah, I think we're
fatherhood. That's
Fatherhood.
new.
Yeah.
Liam was what, 3 months old when the first album came out,
So
and
almost
I
that
was-
album was done before he arrived.
Yeah, and you know, I'm still dealing with the knee issues I was dealing with then. So
New job, school. I mean, it's kind of amazing. I love that part of the story of this album is that somehow all of that didn't slow us down. We got done relatively quickly compared to
Right.
what it took the first time, and there was a lot that happened between the first and second album. Perfect! Nailed it!
There's a place I occupy, more than the few miles we used to know. But there's this song inside our heart, and we can always come on. What the memories still.
Wait, let me do this.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. So lip syncing isn't as easy as you think it's going to be.
No.
Okay, filming, keep your head up. Actually, no point in that until I get in behind you.
What?
I'll be rolling things until I'm in behind you.
And then there was that.
All right, we're almost done, baby girl.
Made love to my guitar as Doug.
I love it. So Kevin's idea of a documentary, I think 2/3 of the band were like, "What?"
We'll say which 2/3.
We'll say.
When he pitched the idea, we're throwing nobody under the bus here, but you know, really seeing the first end, Kevin really pulled a hat trick there. I mean, I think it's it's great storytelling, which is honestly what we're about. And you know, just that look back was really interesting.
Well, I'm rendering right now the documentary. The first part, at least, of the documentary. I'm using Roxio Video Wave. I use that and Lightworks, just two fairly simple video editing programs for all of our video work. And I was up to 5 o'clock in the morning last night at night show. Not unusual, unfortunately, over the last 3 years, since this became a little bit of an obsession to get this done. We had used some footage around the first album of us as kids, and we used it to have a little commercial tease kind of thing, but that sort of made me think that, you know, we needed to do something different to promote album number 2, and plus that just sort of scratched the top of the surface of all the footage we had available of us as kids, growing up, playing in bands together, getting married, I mean, just all this stuff that I thought, you know, why not use that material to tell our story? And that sort of became an idea. Plus it kept my mind occupied, gave me something to stay up late nights and do while Doug was working on the album and the music itself, because honestly, once I sing, my heavy lifting is sometimes over and Doug does all the work. So this gave me something to focus on. It's been fun, but it's also been exhausting. So I look forward to see the finished product, and hopefully it'll turn out well.
There were some of my band, maybe in 2/3, who could be a little camera shy or what. And the one I thought would be the worst about it, again, not naming any names, but when he came back and said, that was actually kind of fun. You know, when he started doing it, it was like, yeah, that was kind of neat. And it was kind of fun to do.
Right. We do all of our video work this way, whether it's music videos or what have you, things for our new YouTube channel. When you're a do-it-yourself band, there's more to that than just the music itself. Also, I keep handy here a copy of the album. Actually, it's empty on the inside because the album is not yet a thing. It's not yet done, but it's here as my inspiration as to what I'm actually doing this bit of work here for.
This way, so I see his marketing brain coming out, and I'm going, oh gosh.
There is a business
Well,
plan.
you're going to have to tell Doug. That's usually the...
Down here to scroll through.
So in true do-it-yourself mode, here's me videoing myself, watching Kevin edit the documentary. And I think that he just showed me a video of him videoing himself making it.
All right. Look at me.
I mean, you do what you have to do.
Wanna get up, wanna be heard, don't wanna speak up, gotta hide a fight, got blood runs cold, I'm not too young, don't wanna grow old.
reaction to this album, I think, has been, I would say a little just humbling, because there were people that were actually excited that we were putting out a second album.
We shall be here
As far as reactions is that we are available in so many more places this time around.
And it comes back to technology and what's available. I mean, if you told 15, 16-year-olds us, you know, back in the day that we would have this availability to this technology, not just recording on an old Tascam 4-track and dubbing down to cassettes and coloring in the inserts ourselves, but that, you know, we can literally be a one-stop shop and distribute globally, you know, in our middle age.
I remember going to school or Swivic, you know, at the college, and if, you know, you had 5 to 10 cassettes on you and you managed to sell most of those that day, you came back and you felt like, man, we made $15-20 selling $3-4 cassettes, and now it's amazing that, I mean, even if the numbers are not, you want to put any gold records on the wall, that, you know, hundreds and thousands of streams of these songs have been going around the world is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, around the world, not just like in the tri-state area where we live, but that's amazing too. We have people streaming in Germany, in Brazil, in Australia, Thailand.
I want to know who these people are.
Right.
You can tell me God sees all, there's things even he can't see. I am one of them, I feel I'm invisible to him. Where can I run to be seen? Where to go from this distress? If God's eyes are everywhere, I have something to confess.
I'm pretty insecure and shy about my own music, and then for somebody to come up to me and come up to us and talk about our music or talk about how they like it, or to know somebody across, you know, somewhere around the world to just listen, it gives you, for me, it's given me a better confidence.
Something we really haven't talked about is really what's next. I mean, I've got music. I'm sure you guys have music, lyrics,
No, I haven't read
ideas.
them.
You know,
We got songs that were still.
and that's true. We still have songs. I don't know what would really be next, because I mean the music is there, the ideas are there. And
I still have songs that I would like to see come out.
absolutely, there's songs I want to see come out. I don't know how we release albums and continue to do that, which I love doing. Do we release EPs? Do we release singles?
Mix of both.
A mix
of
of
all,
both.
mix
All
of
the above.
everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, the great thing going back to technology is we can do it all.
Yeah.
I'm excited about whatever the next thing is.
And the
because
thing is, I mean,
we've worked on this
Yeah.
for a while now. I'm ready for next.
You know, we're not beholden to any kind of record label or anybody but ourselves, because we do this for fun. But you know, we can do what we want and just express ourselves, and I think that's great. And so, who knows what's next?
What it is you think now ground you might be the realization we're only human after all. We were kids on the same ride, living on words as if we could never survive. On the same ride, living on world's edge, so we could never survive.
Well, my favorite thing about Jerry's songs is just how extremely deep they are. They're just, I mean, you can always tell that she's writing from the heart, you know what I mean? Plus, I mean, just the strength of a woman in song, and how, you know, how much heart and passion that women put into their writing. I mean, I've always thought that chicks rock harder than any guy can ever rock. I mean, you know, think about songwriters and like Jewel and Sheryl Crow. I mean, these are women that I've always admired, and you know, Jerry blows them out of the water.
Well, I mean, I obviously love to be interviewed, and I do this a lot, and will tell anyone that working with Storytellers Union, and in particular a songwriter like Kevin, has really been the professional, it has been the professional highlight of my life, the highlight of my life, period, really. I mean, just to be near that kind of talent, I feel sort of like, you know, he's the John Lennon and I'm like the Pete Best, or he's the rest of Van Halen and I'm that guy from Extreme. It's just one of those kind of situations where you just feel really fortunate just to be there.
Jerry's been playing like 10, 12 years. I've been playing since like I was like 10 or 12 or something. I mean, I was just a kid. So, and then Jerry was an adult when she learned, you know. So you learn so much more as an adult, obviously, than you do as a kid. I mean, she's incredible, you know. She's got these like wicked licks, and she's always showing me stuff. And you know, I just feel like I've learned so much from her. How does Kevin inspire you, Doug?
The lyrics, I mean, every word I have committed to memory. I don't know the names of the songs, but the lyrics themselves are kind of etched in my heart. And actually, a few appear in a tramp stamp that I got recently.